Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, July 9th, 2020, here in southern Arizona. It is only 110 degrees today, heading up to 115 and above for the next few days. So we're enjoying the relative cool day we're having here today. Anyway, a short but sweet, very important message here. I talk a lot about this message to market match. Very important that your communications are not about what you want to say. They match what your target who wants to hear. The target who being the first letter of the WOW strategy, that's who you would like to do business with you. Who you would like to come running to you, credit card in hand, begging to do business with you and get your solution to their problem. So, had my 60th birthday about a little over a month ago now, maybe about 6 weeks ago. My beautiful wife Michelle gave me one of these cards, maybe you've seen these, of the year of my birth, 1960. And the series is called the Remember When card series, nostalgic look back in time. Now, I've often seen these, looking to pass the time in the airports and going over the carousels of these things and looking for my year, and I always had the same reaction to seeing my year on a card. And I've always thought about, okay, the cover, the concept, the year seems like it makes sense. 1960, year of my birth. But every time I've opened up one of these, or similarly, they're in poster form and they get all kinds of pictures and text about what went on in the year 1960, and you're probably thinking the same thing I am, that somebody born in 1960, I don't remember a thing that happened in 1960. I'm pretty sure I don't remember nothing from 1960. I was 0 years old. So actually, maybe around 9, 10, 12 years later would be, and is, so that's what I do. Then I reach for the card from like 1972 or 1970 or 69 or something. I'm like, oh man, I remember that. I remember that was the big movie. That was the hit record. That team won the World Series. He was the president. I remember when that happened. So understand that, my beautiful wife Michelle bought this and gave it to me. And of course, the sentiment, the meaning is well received. But the entire 20 pages or whatever of this thing pretty much fell on deaf ears. Now, I did have on my birthday here, I had a friend here who was about 10 or 12 years older than me. And so I went and grabbed the card, and not just to prove a point, but to have some fun with it. I said, you know what, this card, you would love this card. Let's do a quiz. And I went through here page by page, and I just opened, for instance, here's a random page, an ad. And I said, do you remember this ad, what it was for? Do you remember what was the best-selling car that year? Oh, and I asked them for the prices. They had, like, prices in here, like the price for a house, the price for a car, price for a loaf of bread. And he got them all right, pretty much. I was like, do you remember these songs, these movies? What were the top movies? What were the top songs? Here it is, 1960 cost of living. Hey, Robert Jones is here. Good seeing you. Right, cost of living from 1960. And I was like, hey, what do you think a new house was? And he got it pretty much right. It says here 12,000 something. I think he said 10 or 15,000. New car was 2,600. Tuition to Harvard University, $1,250 a year. I think it's now $1,250 a minute. And you don't even get to go there and attend this year, thanks to the great shutdown. It's more of a ripoff than ever. Gasoline, 25 cents a gallon. A stamp was 4 cents, on and on. So me being born in 1960, I couldn't have guessed any of these right. I mean, I guessed. They'd be pure guesses, though. But I don't remember any of it, okay? So that's the lesson for today, that if you are putting out a card that you would give to someone born in 1960, it would be all kinds of questions remembering things that happened at a minimum 8 to 10 years later when they kind of were plugged into the world and remember things. If you have kids of your own, you know that 8, 9, 10 years old is when they start paying attention to things. I do remember one thing. I didn't even realize who was the president when I was born, in the year I was born, 1960. I thought that John F. Kennedy was the president when I was born. in May of 1960, until I got this. And it says in there, the president was Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I'm like, no, Kennedy, 1960. And then I realized, see, so that's the great thing. Another great, first of all, it's a gift, my beautiful wife, Michelle. But another thing that's great about it is that I then realized I've lived through another president. Because the election was in November 60, November 1960, and I was born in May 1960. So Eisenhower was the president all through 1960 and even part of 1961. And inauguration wasn't until sometime in January 1961 when Kennedy came in. So here I was thinking my whole life that Kennedy was the president when I was born, but Kennedy was elected in the year I was born. And so I think I've now lived through 9 presidents. And as usual, we have a choice of the lesser of two evils, and I think this year, is it even possible that it could be more ridiculous than it was last time, 4 years ago? The Democrats put up the worst choice possible 4 years ago. I think they've even done themselves one worse, except the thing now is everyone knows that their candidate, if elected, won't even know what day it is, so he won't be in charge of anything. So it's totally different from the last one, where if Hillary would have won, she would have been in charge of everything for sure. But if this guy wins Biden, he doesn't even know how to tie his shoes. Anyway, I digress. So make sure you have a message to market match. And if you're going to speak to someone born in 1960, in your copy, in your messaging, in your emails, your social media posts, your direct mail letters, whatever you're using to communicate with them, you wouldn't say things like, do you remember Dwight D. Eisenhower being president? Do you remember when a postage stamp was 4 cents? Do you remember when Chubby Checker sang The Twist and that was the #1 song that year? Of course they do not. Remember, you've got to speak the language, not of you or what you think somebody else might like. You got to do the research, study, and for best effect, it's called a message to market match. Speak the language of your target who, the person you're speaking to, the person who is doing business with you and therefore you want them to do more business with you, or the person who's not yet doing business with you. That is your ideal target who. That's who you need to craft your messages to get into their head, where they're coming from. No matter what you think you should be saying to them, you do the research and you speak to them where they are at, and that'll do it. For Throwback Thursday, Greg is here. Good seeing you. And I saw a few more names go by. If you say hello, then I think you stay on the screen. But that'll do it for Throwback Thursday. I'm getting back inside where it is less than 110 degrees. And I'll be back here tomorrow. On Foundation Friday, we're going to have part 2 of our multi-part series on Dr. Dennis Waitley's fantastic, transformative, classic book, The Psychology of Winning. Hope you'll join me then. Over now for today. Bye-bye.